Already.
Good evening and welcome to Weaving Web3 with me, James.
Me, Chris.
Me Stash.
Today we're going to talk about our Lord and Savior Donald Trump and his NFT collection. Stash is an enormous fan, and we're just so thrilled that he's finally getting into this space. I mean, we're delighted. We can't wait.
Yeah.
We convinced him not to wear his MAGA hat today, didn't we, James?
I mean, it's almost glued onto his head. Like, it is there 24/7.
Guys got me there. Don't expose me too much.
The only thing he loves more than Trump is Kanye. And then we're also going to talk about bits of AI with Chat GPT coming out, a bit of DALL-E for the NFTs and the art. People haven't heard of it. And a little bit of Dota 2, OpenAI. I think it's called Dota 5 or AI 5. They used to play that. So then we'll kick off this week talking about the Trump NFTs. Now, all jokes aside, what do we actually think about them?
I think, well, for one, they have more utility than basically every single NFT.
He loves Trump. You can't get enough.
He is a big fan of Trump. He just wants to win that meet and greet with Trump.
Yeah, I want to be in that gala holding his hand. Me and Trump will be walking down, be like, Trump and his Royal Highness. That's my dream. That is my
But no, you are right though. They do actually have more utility. Because what were the rewards they offered with them?
You get to have one-on-one Zoom meetings. You can visit him in a gala. You get to take a few mates to his beautiful, majestic golf courses and something else.
You've really Stash should be getting.
I mean, that's like one thing, right? That's like, oh, one person gets this, one person, and he hasn't actually held any of them yet.
I assume it's like a raffle situation, though, isn't it? Like, because it was like, is it 45,000 were sold?
Yeah, but if you bought 45 at one time, you had a guaranteed gala visit with him.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Really?
Yeah, so if you bought 45,
what, for $4.5 grand?
Yeah.
I mean, that seems like a reasonable price someone would pay to go to a gala. It's interesting though, because the way that worked then, the gala ones you could guarantee, and I'm assuming those bigger rewards are like random, but the more you hold, the more likely you are to win it.
And there was like guaranteed like memorabilia. Like he's just literally gone all out. Like it's not. I also read that he does the Trump estate and people don't actually own it. It's like some other company that's done.
No, it's been minted and it's been run by NFT Int LLC, which isn't a Trump company. I went a bit like looked at the books, but they're not owned by Trump. He's not an owner, shareholder, whatever. So I'm assuming it's like a licensing agreement, like Prime Drinks is. Do you know what I mean? Like KSI and Logan Paul aren't making the drink; they're just the face, aren't they?
So Trump is the face of the NFT, basically.
Well, what's interesting, Chris, as well is they're not calling it an NFT, are they?
Yes, that is correct.
Digital trading card.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's because he thinks that his base wouldn't like the term NFT.
Probably.
Like that a digital trading card makes sense to them. Or that they think, a trading card intrinsically has a value.
Yeah, because these people, a lot of these older people who vote Trump, they don't know what NFTs are. They do, however, know what trading cards are because they collected their baseball cards, all that, right? Digital ones, oh, cool. I can get 45 for $4.5 grand and meet Trump. Yay! And actually, if they had bought 45 right now, they would be sitting on quite a lot of profit.
Go meet Donald and sell them. You've been loving it.
Exactly. Like what they were.
They were selling at $99 or $90.
They were selling at $99, and now the cheapest one is 0.385 ETH, which is $450.
That's crazy. Absolutely. Like I was thinking, like we were talking about earlier, like I was literally in the process of buying one, but I was like, hang on a second, I do not
loves Trump.
I don't want to support this kind of person. I was just thinking, like, and then James said earlier, like meme power or like big kind of group is obviously going to hit out. And
the thing is, right, I specifically, and I've been caught up like this on several occasions with NFTs in particular, like everyone talks about them and laughs about them, right? Those ones are the ones that do so well because everyone is talking about them, right? It becomes a meme, right? That's what happened with Dogecoin. Everyone was talking about it, being like, it's a little dog on a coin. And now, like, and it reached 50 cents or whatever. Like,
what I find interesting is though, right, guys, do you think, because to me, it's so posh, so posh.
yeah, exactly. He's just trying to flex on us now, isn't he?
Do you know what that is right there, Chris? That's a Tory tango. That's
that,
what
that
that is.
That is. It's a Trump tango.
That's a Trump tango. when he's off playing golf at his resorts, he has his little Trump tango. What I was going to say was, do you think it's weird to me, right? Where do you think these people that are interested in these Trump cards, like if it's his traditional fan base, where are they buying them? Because
it's like website super easy, like
was it all through that?
Yeah, it was basically
okay.
Essentially your fee on ramp. They literally put their credit card, debit cards, and basically everything for them.
So are they sat on like an escrow wallet, or are they sat in like a wallet? Because that's my other thing. Is I'm like, you paid for your card, and maybe they email you a picture of it, but is that NFT sat in someone else's wallet? Do you know what I mean? Like if you're trying to on ramp,
like a Coinbase kind of thing, it's on their platform. I'm not sure, looking at whether it's self custody. Like you can obviously transfer them to like a self custody wallet. That's why how people are selling it.
Yeah.
Because have you guys ever heard of Nifty?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Nifty does exactly the same thing, where you can fiat on ramp, have a token that's then looked after somewhere else for you, and then you can sell it, and like an OpenSea. So that's just fair enough that they're doing that. I'm just interested because obviously, like, if you've bought this NFT, can you actually sell it? Like, do you know what I mean? Like Chris is saying, like
massive prices on OpenSea and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. Is like, is it only the people who know how to list them on OpenSea that are actually making the price?
I guess
go up.
But I'm sure, like maybe someone's dad was like, "Hey, Trump's releasing these digital trading cards or whatever," right?
That's not what Stash sounds like.
They get their son to do it. Stash in this situation.
Yeah.
Is that how your dad sounds? Yeah. And then they're more tech savvy, like offspring will probably be on it and know a little bit more about these things. They'll be able to look it up, just a simple Google, and you can kind of figure it out, right? Like, oh, I need to set up a wallet here and then put the address here, and then they'll transfer it to me, right?
I was gonna sort of say, what did you guys think of the trading cards? Because they are an awful Photoshop job, as far as I'm concerned.
They are exactly what they needed, right?
They're going to be great for Chris's. Chris is definitely going to take these and put our faces on 3 Trumps, pointing out at the camera. We need you. Like, it's just what he's going to do. Like, it's perfect meme material for Chris. But it just seems weird as NFTs. But I think this is such like an easy cash win for Donald Trump.
Basically.
Oh yeah. So right, he's taking 10%. The creator fee on OpenSea is 10%.
But he's not taking that. Joe, I'm certain. Like, right, to me, I'm honestly certain that what these guys have said is, "Hi, Donald, we will pay you $4 million, the initial like offering, and we'll keep the rest."
Yeah.
I'm certain. Oh, they've probably not even paid him that much. Maybe 2 million quid. Just gone. Look, we'll take photos. Don't even need to pose for anything. We're going to use your likeness. 2 million quid. Take that, and we'll just collect all the rest. I think that's almost certainly what they've done.
So right now, just from the total volume, volume has been 5,720. So they've netted 572 easy in what? When did this release? Like
that's crazy.
That's ridiculous. I can't believe it.
But I'm
December the 12th.
I'm certain that they've got some sort of maybe flat fee and then 8% to him or something, and they keep 9% or something. Like that's how I would do it, because essentially, and it's hilarious, isn't it? Because it's just marketing.
Someone just came up with this idea. Whoever came up with this idea,
someone was
genius.
They were just like, "Oh, Trump's a bit of a meme. You know what does well in crypto markets? Memes. Let's make the memeiest pictures." Sorry, the memeiest pictures.
Well, like PG-13, we could have one effort episode. No, I completely agree with you. I think the whole Trump thing is hilarious. I think it's exactly the sort of project he would love to get behind. It's a win if you're like a personality. You've got to put no effort in, and you just collect some bank.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, just from the fact that they're on the Polygon blockchain means they haven't put any effort in, because the Polygon blockchain is super simple, really easy to upload things to, right? It's super cheap. You don't pay any fees or anything. That's why you get all these scams on the Polygon blockchain, just airdropping you things, trying to make you click on them so as they can get your wallet information.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's exactly how I would do it if I was there. It's perfectly sensible, isn't it? Because like they don't have any utility. They're just memes, but like they're making money. No, I wouldn't be surprised though if you actually saw other celebrities doing this. Like me, but they won't be as successful, I don't think. I think this is sort of like one of those ones, like you said, like a Doge, where you look back and you're like, yeah, of course, that stupid thing popped off. Like that is what it is. But yeah,
they've got to be okay with having fun made out of them, right? And being completely oblivious and actually benefiting off it because it keeps them in the limelight. And a lot of people these days kind of aren't that big of a fan of being the butt of the joke, I guess.
See, I find it really interesting that like more internet people haven't done this already. Like, you see like lots of people like they team with like trading card companies, don't they? And they'll make like a physical trading card of like something. Do you know what I mean? Like YouTubers do it or stuff like, oh, like sick moment in like I don't know, like Dude Perfect or something like that. They've probably got like a collection of trading cards, because trading card companies do the exact same thing, don't they? Where they license the moments, print all the cards, do all the backlog, and then send fees to them. Like our Sidemen have done one recently. They've done like a trading card collection for like, but I suppose their audience is probably younger. But I don't know, because surely you could make it digital. I don't know. It just feels to me like something that could easily just be spun up for lots of other people.
I mean, the first proper NFTs, weren't they like the Tops cards or whatever? The digital, if I'm remembering right, they sort of Tops NFTs. Yeah, so there was this app, and so Tops make all the different trading cards, and you could just get the NFT of your trading card as well, I think. Something like that. Idea. And that's how it needs you to log in and stuff like that. But yeah, that's kind of what kicked it off, I believe. So him naming them digital trading cards is kind of like, oh, it's official. It's like this is what it was intended for. It wasn't intended for all these, like, I don't know, pictures of seals, pictures of penguins. Yeah, this is me. I'm a trading card, baby.
I think also, like, the idea is you actually want them traded, but I don't know what you guys are. I've never been a big like trading card guy. I had Pokemon cards at school because who didn't? And like I probably had some Digimon cards, like a Blue Eyes White Dragon popping about. But I never.
Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Oh god, no! Murder me now.
Tell how much of a boomer.
Murder me now. Oh god. Oh god. I didn't even like Digimon very much. I like Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh and Beyblades were more my scene. Oh no!
I love Beyblades.
What a blunder! Blue Eyes White topped idiot. No, like, I think that sort of stuff is quite interesting, and I think a lot of people might go down that same route and that same model now.
With trading cards, right? There's some sort of nostalgia to it, right? Like, oh, you think of back in the day, because as you said, everyone had Pokemon cards. You had these trading cards. They were sort of their own currency. So that's what they've done, basically.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So anyway, I think we've talked up Trump as much as staff would have wanted. But I think we've covered that topic. It's quite a fun one. I'll be really interested to see where that is next week, which is Christmas Day. So obviously we'll be recording on Christmas Day. But 100%. But
we're so committed. So.
We are every day, 52 weeks a year. Yeah. I am interested to see what that price will be in a week's time. I think we put a reminder on our calendars. Text, don't do it on Christmas Day. We do it on the 26th, and just see where that's landed.
That's the thing, because like as I said earlier off camera, I saw it at 0.05 and I sort of scoffed and laughed, right? Then I saw it yesterday at 0.65 and I was like, oh, damn it, I should have bought some. And then I see it today at 0.38 and I'm like, there seems to be a wave for me.
Well, look, you can't have a dump without first having a pump.
Yeah, exactly.
No. But then the other thing I wanted to talk about and that we thought was quite interesting this week was Chat GPT. Now, for anyone who hasn't heard of this at home, or like I don't know a ton about it, but I was talking to one of my friends about it. It's essentially somewhere you can go and type in code. So you can say, in Python, which is coding language, can you make me a game that plays blackjack? And the AI, made by a company called OpenAI, will go away and write that code for you in Python. Now, it might not be perfect, but it's pretty good. And Stash has had a go at using it to do a smart contract. And I just wondered if you'd tell us a little bit about your experience, how you thought that was.
To be honest, I'm literally blown away from my mind, like how essentially people's careers could be going away in okay, I'm not saying we're replaced in an instant. I've also watched people on like TikTok writing their entire school assignments in a matter of seconds and passing, and people not even realizing, like the teachers are probably oblivious. Like AI is at a point where it's going to replace people's jobs, and a big problem that one of my friends who's a designer, like the 3D animations and stuff like that. I did I don't know if you went on the trend called Lenser. It's an app that basically you upload a few pictures and the AI generates you in like 10 different themes, and you get hundreds of photos. They're like near photorealistic versions of you, but it's like you like an armor in space and like wearing different outfits, and it's like, what the hell? Like, I will send you guys some photos, and it is, you would think.
You do it?
Yes, I did it. I caved
course.
in. I paid £5 to get like 200 AI generation themes of me, and it's like madness.
Oh, we need to get on that, Chris. We need to get on that. There's some meme material in there. We'll get on that.
Oh, definitely, 100%.
Link that up later.
And like for the Chat GPT thing, like I really want to learn like programming and coding, and this literally showed me how easy. It's not how easy it is, but it's not as scary as I thought. Because like I want to, well, let's say I'm not going to share my idea, but it's something that's missing. But I want like a safe way to trade NFTs between people, and it's like, hang on a second. I typed in everything I wanted, all the parameters, what's going on, like the safety features, and it basically wrote out the entire code for everything. And every time it's like, oh, actually, can you add this as well? It would redo that whole code plus everything and step-by-step explanation of what each line says. It's like, hang on a second. I've learned more from like this AI telling me stuff than like my half a year coding course that was part of one of my degrees.
Sorry. Yeah, so not just Python, they've also got this apparently for Java.
Yeah.
Because like Java, right? Last term, because we had a Java project, and my friend showed me that literally this AI has done it the whole project basically. And it's done it well, passable. And I was just like, I spent 3 months doing that and like banging my head against the brick wall. Like, I feel like coding as it is will be changed very drastically by AI.
See, what I find interesting.
Yeah.
What I find interesting, I want to ask you two is, do you guys use many AIs day to day? Do you use them at work? Do you use them at uni? Like, what sort of bits do you do with them? Like, it doesn't have to be like massive projects, but like, have you got any, like, I imagine Stash, you've got some like AI or some big data stuff.
We've got loads of AIs and data stuff that we have access and use to, but like I need to create like basically like a viral dispersion model for my like one of my experiments to predict what outcomes I'm going to get when I do them in real life. And like I literally wrote majority of my code in a matter of minutes that I spent last year on one of my mini projects half a year on. And I'm just like, hang on a second, like this is going to revolutionize every single industry.
Just going to make everything so much quicker.
Yeah,
that's the thing, and make it more complex. And like,
so
personally, I don't use very many AIs and stuff like that because I'm doing electronic engineering. There is a coding element to it, but like we don't use AIs. But yeah, like if it can do things that, I mean, sure, a qualified coder could probably do what I spent 3 months doing in like a matter of a couple of days, maybe like 5 days, let's say. But still, if this can do it in 30 minutes, like,
I think So it's like in my industry, I'll talk about like an accountancy. I'll talk from basic steps. So like if like a lot of businesses, what you'd get is they'll send you a piece of paper which has an invoice on it. And like obviously what used to happen is back in the day, somebody would sit down and they would type in, this is the invoice date, this is the supplier, this is the amount, this is the VAT, but now you have obviously OCR scanners. So you put it in and it puts it in, uploads it, just puts it in the system for you. And you just need to then tell it within something like Xero, which is an accounting software, where it lives. But after you've put a couple of invoices, 2 or 3, to that location, the next one you scan in, it puts it there immediately for you and just goes, do you want me to put it there? And you just say yes. And like that's where, like, even like in accountancy or whatever, a lot of our job, what the AIs are fantastic at is getting rid of the menial rubbish that you don't need a brain to do. Like, and that's where our job goes a lot less from, there's 2 sides to like professional services generally, compliance and advisory. So compliance stuff is like, oh, you need to submit a set of annual accounts, blah, 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 blah. Putting those together is timely, expensive, and AI is like great at reducing that time. But then the other bit is the advisory, which the computers can't do yet. And I think that's where the job shifts, is that you need to be able to understand what the AI is doing, but also go, well, my job is not doing that anymore. It's advising on the information. Yeah. And I think the coding will go the same way, where you go, okay, the AI will write a script, and then someone will go, well, does that script hit the criteria? Does that do what this do? Can we tolerance test it? Can we do X and Y? Because the reality is, we can never compete with AIs for the amount of time they can spend doing something. It's just not possible, is it? Because essentially, what Chris has said is, I'm a coder with a very minimal experience. It took me 3 months. A coder with 5 years experience, it would have taken him 5 days. 10 years experience, 2 days. Well, the AI has got 20,000 years of experience, so it takes it 30 minutes. And that's all it is.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that the AIs lack initially is creativity. And that's a very hard thing to talk about. And what I was going to link that through to, if that's all right, boys, was about, I play a game called Dota 2. I've played it for years. It's very sad. I love it. I also hate it. But essentially, this video game, you had like a one-on-one scenario. And the company called OpenAI, who made DALL-E and ChatGPT, they essentially put their AI through it, watched the best players play, and went, right, let's make an AI that does this. And what the AI did is it broke the game. It didn't. It was winning the game, but not in a way that any human would ever want to win. It's like a weird thing where you set the parameter to win, and it doesn't care how it gets there. What that's really good for is it breaks logic and ingrained logic. So we might all go, no, that's not your way you do it, because that's not the way we were taught. That's not the way, blah, 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 blah. And so it's excellent at breaking those trends, but sometimes the solutions it makes aren't practical.
Can I ask, has that influenced any professional Dota 2 players to change and play the way the AI plays?
There's 2 things with the AI in like a video game. The AI's timing is perfect, which the humans is never going to be. So like there's things like that are a bit perfect. Like Dota is not a game like Counter-Strike. You could never beat the bots if they all had like aimbot, because they'll always be able to hit your head or whatever. But it's like perfect timing and stuff you can't do. But just the way it plays is very unnatural. Like they do lots of weird things. And in the real world, it's a bit like if you try to like model out like football and stuff, the bit that makes sport and like esports and stuff exciting is the mistakes. Like we watched the World Cup final, like Messi getting stripped and then they go the other end and then the ball comes across and then Mbappe scores. Like that is the excitement. And when they try and sanitize all that out of the game, it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
So humans will never play like that. And that's where, depending on what the AI is doing, like something like coding, fine. But like with like a video game, it becomes a bit difficult because no one's enjoying it anymore. And then it doesn't exist. And then the AI is useless.
Just doing the tasks as a computer sort of thing. Like, yeah.
And that's the thing. It's just completing the task to the best of the ability. And it doesn't care.
There's
that
not
no
that
one's...
creativity, that sort of artistic flair. Yeah.
But talking about... Yeah.
Although, like, if you give the AI the right sort of influences as well, like it can mimic that creativity. Sure, it can't do it the same way, but it can mimic, as we've seen with what Stash was saying about the art generation pieces, right?
Yeah.
So,
What's interesting though with the art, and I don't know where you guys land on this, is so my presumption is, and correct me if I've got this wrong, something like DALL-E, which is the art AI that you can go on and put in, do da 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 in da 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 style. That's scanning through art that's already been created. So, like, does the AI have the ability to create a new style? For example, like if you think like cubism, could it make up cubism? Or if it's never been given that input, does it not see it? Do you see what I mean? Because it's working to a parameter, and if we've not set the parameter yet, will it ever be able to do that?
I guess it's depends if it has its like not self-think, but if it's allowed to like experiment. If it's been like, no, you can't do, you have to only do on things that already exist, then probably not.
It's interesting though, because for example, let's take the art for a second. Say for example, you wanted to see a new art style. You can't, as a human, verify every piece of art it produces.
Yeah.
Right? So would it have to decide itself if it liked the art style? Do you see what I mean? Because otherwise, what parameter are you setting it to?
yeah.
Like but it gets a bit trippy. But I don't see how
Getting
the
a
future...
bit to like, what's it called?
1984?
Yeah, no, not 1984. What's it called? 2000 AD, 2001 AD or whatever, that film,
Yeah.
where it's like, you can't do that, Mr. Sort of, yeah, like
2001: A Space
take
Odyssey.
over eventually. They'll have their own opinions.
Yeah.
And they'll see us, I mean, who can't do these things on the same level as bring in the Terminator and get rid of us all.
It's really interesting though, isn't it? Because like, what does the human's role in that environment become?
Yeah.
Do you essentially get rid of, like, if you think about like a business, in a business, let's say we're making cars, right? Board of directors sit at the top and they say, we're making this car, this direction, we want, it needs to be eco-friendly, it needs to be electric, it needs to be whatever, big scale. Then they go down a level and the managers go, okay, we're building this car, how are we actually going to do that? What do we do, etc. Blah, blah, blah. And then it goes down another level of the people going, putting the nuts and bolts and actually making the car. Are we getting rid of that bottom rung of people? Not get rid of those people, but do you know what I mean? Like, get rid of those jobs? Because from like a coding perspective, the board have said, we want to do this. The middle guys say, okay, this is how all these systems will integrate. And then the bottom bit, which is write the code, are they then shipping that out? Like, is that almost where the AI comes in?
I mean, you do kind of see that in all senses of life, right? As the technology is advanced, like cashiers aren't really necessary because you've got your automated like checkout, right? Which can do exactly the same thing. You just need one person to make sure that the machine's doing the right job, or that, oh, the weight thing was done correctly. Yeah, like there's a lot of fear about jobs becoming defunct because of automation, right? And I kind of disagree with it, because I believe that the automation is kind of necessary, right, for advancement in those areas, right? So if you, this is getting very philosophical now, if you automate the medial tasks which people need to do and do them getting paid terrible money and stuff like that, then potentially you influence them to like get a skill that can't be done by just some random bot sort of thing, right?
Yeah, like we're walking into political waters, aren't we? Because it's like,
exactly.
We are. But that's fine. We can wade in there, because it's exactly where you need to go when you're talking about AI. Because Chris is right. Like, if you're saying, look, there are low skilled or no skilled jobs do not exist in this industry. Be it like, and we're not talking about coding. Like, for example, like a checkout job. I worked a checkout job, stressful, hard work, etc. Like, most people have done it. And we're not saying like it's not I mean, you don't have to spend a lot of time studying to do it. You don't have to have a special skill set.
We're not discrediting how hard work it is, because both of us know from, and I'm sure Stash from his ivory tower in the Trump Tower.
Stash has never even been in a supermarket. Ocado just turns up. They drop off his luxury donuts every week, and he carries on. But no, but like exactly that. Like those jobs are going away, and does it force those people to get a skill, or does it leave those people who can't get a skill, don't want to get skilled, etc.? Are they then disenfranchised with the whole system?
Well,
Because
they're
I think,
unemployed for one.
well, it's a really interesting one though, because you this is a byproduct of a capitalist society.
Yeah.
So the real reason for that automation is cost saving, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
quicker.
Well,
it might work.
that was I feel like that was the initial influence, to save costs, right? Because if you've got one checkout person instead of 5 people, then you only have to pay one person, right? Yeah.
I think it's all about, ultimately, to me, the world boils down to, there are 2 things that the world revolves around, and this is just my view. There is time and there is energy. That is it. That is all there is that people are managing. Money represents both time and energy. So you can't get any younger, right? But money is a representative time. Why do you take more skills on? Because you're hoping to get paid more per hour so that you can do more with your hours in the day.
Yeah.
You can't get any younger, so you need to look after yourself, go out and go to the gym and do all that sort of stuff. And I think those are the 2 ultimate things that people are always battling with. And when we talk about AI, well, we're saving time, so that person's not doing that anymore, and therefore we're saving money. And it also takes out something that we've never been able to take out before, which is the age thing. So this AI can sit there and learn infinitely. And that coder that's coding now is an AI with 10,000 years experience. In 2 months' time, it might have 100,000. A month after that, it might have 10 million. Like, you don't know how much coding it can do in its entire life. At what point does it hit a point where you go, actually, human coders can't code like that? Like, we never will be able to. I
mean, a robot can watch every single YouTube video in existence on how to do this thing.
I still not watch this one, apparently. Get the views up, get the views up.
And specifically like and subscribe all of Weaving Web3's podcast episodes, right?
How can we get ChatGPT to write a script for that?
A way how it can boost our algorithm.
But I think that's where, sorry, I feel like I've talked a lot, but I feel like that's where the AIs go, is that they will outskill a lot of people. And I think the jobs will shift to being people who can review what the algorithm said, sanity check it and do all those bits.
But if AIs become too popularized and too efficient, doesn't that kind of break down the whole capitalist society? Because everyone surely is going to be like, look, I've got a robot that I can buy for 50 grand that can do this for 100 years. I just need some maintenance on it or whatever. Or I can pay this guy 50 grand a year to do it, who's not going to do it as well as the robot.
So I guess it will be like kind of the new capitalist system. Everyone's going to be buying AIs to do their life while they're in the virtual reality. In the meta.
Not being funny, my ideal world would be that I get to spend all of my days doing whatever I want, hanging out with my family, spending my finite time on this planet, hanging out with the people I love and doing things that I want to do. If I could have computer systems go, like, if every single person, and this isn't I'm not like a big communist, but if everyone could have all the food they needed, all the resources that the planet can offer, even with a smaller population, because it looks like populations are starting to decline a chunk, and have all the menial stuff done elsewhere. But the reason why that system doesn't work is that every single human on this planet is competing against each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't be rich unless other people are poor. Like, that's the problem with the system. Is that if everyone had enough, someone will come in and cheat the system
and be like, oh, I make the robots, so I'm getting paid millions and millions and millions.
Well, that's the thing, that is a beautiful, lovely world if resources are infinite. Unfortunately, they're finite, and if you want anything on this planet, someone is going to compete with you for it. There are only so many jobs, there are only so many houses, there are only so many bits of land, there are only so many whatever. Someone is going to compete with you. That's how humans are geared. And so I think the AIs are going to make these mega corporations unkillable. Like, I genuinely don't know if a country will be able to compete with someone like Google. Because what do you do if they own all the technology that enables them to do everything?
Yeah. And all the information
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you're like the United States, your biggest assets are Amazon, Google, Apple, and you'll do anything to protect that IP. You'd have a big old army and a load of nukes just to keep Apple and those boys safe, because if that's the tech of the future and that's who's going to run the world, that's what you want to do. But yeah, I think that's my bits on AI. What do you boys think? Any other bits that I think I've missed or that me and Chris have discussed? I don't know if
Ash,
want to...
you haven't talked that much. Go for it. What?
Me?
Yeah.
Got any thoughts on AIs?
It's always, for me, I feel like they're going to be the future or they will destroy our future. That's where I'm at.
When the optimist in our group says they might destroy our future, I'm feeling down. Sasha's the happiest man in the world.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. I don't know. I'm all for it, to be honest. Like, I want anything to, like you said, to make my life easier and spend the things that I want to do. Absolutely, I will take it. Like, if I get that neural link and I can suddenly talk 20, 30 languages from good old Elon Musk, then yeah, I'm gonna start traveling the world, talk whatever languages I want. Like, I'm all for this like merge of like organic and cybertronic futures. Like, I'm a big fan of like all the cyberpunk stuff, so I would love to have.
I was going to say cyberpunk, yeah.
I think you need to just embrace the future. At the end of the day, like, we evolve, we discover new technologies. But yeah, people are going to be replaced. Like when we talked about last episode, like we're just replaceable when we leave a job or at Starbucks, whatever. Like, end of the day, not saying people die out, but jobs die out. Not now. Okay, this is maybe a next evolutionary stage where people have to adapt, or you're just going to be good old Joe that doesn't have a Neuralink brain chip, can't process like mathematical equations that take like good old Joe an hour or 2 days to do. So I'm all for it. Like, it's going to advance our civilization tenfold. Like the space race. This is the new space race, I feel. AI, crypto, blockchain technologies. This is bigger than all of our evolutionary phases, I think.
I think the only thing that's holding us back on this is we're going to run out of natural resources. The planet is not like expansion has happened at such an exponential rate that we're burning through everything we've got. Humans have got no idea what we can do with it, which is hilarious because, like, if you think from energy, let's step back about energy, the sun gives out all the energy you could ever need constantly, all the time. And you think, well, we're just not doing well enough, are we? We just need to be able to harvest that. Do you know what I mean? And you just think...
I mean, changing the topic a little bit, like, they've just had breakthroughs with nuclear fusion and stuff like that as well. Like, it's a really exciting time right now because, for instance, if they solve the nuclear fusion problem, that opens us up to limitless energy.
Yeah.
Like, if they can create more energy from two things that create that are less energy, right? Like, you're looking at us going exponentially up, right? And already, like, in the last 100 years, let's say, the human race, I know that we're getting very carry on, but like the human race has evolved.
Do you know what? I think it is Web3 though, because we're talking about what we think the future is going to look like. I personally think the future of finance is using stuff like cryptocurrencies. I think the future in general is using energy resources like Chris is talking about. So carry on, Chris. You shout about your fusion.
Yeah. So like in the last 100 years alone, like the human race has evolved so drastically, right? Like there's this shock meter thing which I quite liked. I read about it, and basically it's like, where can you put in time a person from a certain time period and he will be there and he will be so shocked by the advancements in technology and everything that he will die. Like, how far? And if you like,
you could put me back 100 years and I would struggle. Yeah. I'm like, I don't like this.
If you go from like even the early 90s to now, like, I'm not saying you're going to die, but the advancement is so much. Like, you could have gone from like ancient Egypt up to like, I don't know, the Viking ages, and you'd still be fine. You'd be like, oh, they're using pointy sticks. Yeah, we did that.
Chris, you say early 90s, like some of us here weren't born in the early 90s. Some of us have been on this planet since the early 90s and are living now and are fine, and we're fine.
That too.
Exactly, yeah.
No, I do agree with you though. Like, I just think if we, but you think about the AIs. Could AIs help us find that fusion recipe? Like, can they do the experiments? Can they do them 1 billion times and find it?
Well, the problem is, right, with the AIs is that, as you said, they don't have the creativity that humans have. So I think still a lot of the problems that we have, even with the advancements in AI, we will become 100 times, it'll become a lot easier to solve these things, but there will still need to be some human intervention, to solve these things. If we have better technology, can do things a lot faster, sure, that will help us. But at the end of the day, a computer alone, without the commands from a human, unless obviously AI becomes sentient and all that.
Idea from did you ever watch that movie with Johnny Depp where he gets basically shot and then his consciousness gets uploaded to a supercomputer and then he starts taking over the world and stuff?
I feel like I've seen it, but I couldn't tell you what it's
I'm
called.
gonna find it, but like that's what kind of gives me that, because like he was able to like think and like control shit.
Yeah, so there's another one called with Scarlett Johansson in.
Yeah,
where it's same concept sort of thing. Yeah. I mean, and look at the Matrix, for instance, right? Like all the Smith programs sort of taken over and stuff. Yeah. It's exciting.
Yeah, very unknown and dangerous.
It's very unknown territory, yeah.
See, I wonder if this is me futurescaping, but if they'll stop teaching people the menial stuff. At what point do you have an education system where at 5 you teach a kid like, yeah, look, this is counting, but you don't really need to worry about that too much. What we're going to get you to do is we're going to get you to do a load of creative activities to get your creativity and your brain going, because that's what we actually need as a society. So don't worry about the numbers. We'll sort the numbers. You just need to be able to think creatively, like lateral thinking, like do the bits the AIs can't. Like at what point do you start training the humans to do the thing the AI can't do?
I feel like there's still a need for like
there's a base level.
Basics, yeah.
There's definite base level, but like you think about like a child prodigy, like you think about like Bach, the composer, right? He essentially just did music as like obviously he did other bits, like he could read, he could write, whatever, but essentially just lived music. And what you end up with is a stellar composer. And I just sort of think like, do you need to do the same thing with kids with like creativity in a world where the AI does all the menial jobs? Be like, do you know what? Don't worry about those little bits. If you need to know what 10 plus 10 is, just ask. It'll tell you instantly. You don't need to worry about that. You just need to be creative.
I mean, I can literally say, "Hey Google, do this," right? You know?
Oh, you set up all the Googles at home, Chris.
Don't
set up all the Googles of the viewers.
Where is my location?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the old streamer trick.
Yeah. Send 50 ETH to this wallet address. Oh, what? Oh my god.
This is the thing, right? We mentioned this earlier, Chris, didn't we? Stash chucks around 50 ETH like it's nothing. Just casually, always. It's always 50 ETH. He doesn't
send me 50 ETH. Where is he getting this 50 ETH?
You wouldn't believe that those earrings are actually made of diamonds. They are pure diamond earrings. It's about 17 carats he's got flying around. Yeah, I'm not even allowed ears. Me and Chris aren't allowed ears. But yeah, Chris hides them. I've got these replacements.
Exactly, because we're ashamed. We're ashamed of our ears.
Well, we don't have the sort of money that Stash does. But no, I know we've got a bit off topic there, and maybe not so much Web3, but pretty philosophical about the future and what we think might be in store. But those 2 projects we mentioned, the Chat GPT, you can go on and have a look. If you've got no coding, put in something you'd maybe like a bit of code to do, and potentially just read it. You might understand a little bit more. You may be able to get I personally think everyone should have a bit of a grasp on coding. I did it for like a couple of years, and I'm showing my age that when I did it at college, I learned Visual Basic for 2 years. I'm old. But so I do a bit of Chat GPT, go and have a look at it. The one that's a bit more interesting for people is DALL-E. But if you also put into like AI art, we'll include a link to the one that Stash was talking about, where you can pay a $5 to go and do your 200 if you want to go and give that a go. And like we say, same as last week, if you hate what we said, tell us. If you love what you say, tell us. Just drop it in the comments. If you've got any questions or any topics you'd like spoken about next week's Christmas, so we've already got something planned, but the week after we'll happily talk about. But yeah,
and if you do want to send Stash 50 ETH for whatever reason, we'll include his wallet address as well.
absolutely.
For
Chris,
donations.
Chris, you're making sure that's mine, yeah? I'll
Yeah,
split it with you. Yeah. Stash's address will be in the link. But no, look, that was another lovely little meander. We've wandered through our web.
Yeah, and we really should have been called Wandering Web.
That's what I'm saying. Look, we wander, we weave. It's all Web3. We don't mind.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Now for the best segment. Oh wait, I need to get it. 1 second.
Oh, here we go. The bit that all the crowd are waiting for.
Oh, what the crowd were waiting for, the 50th donut.
The crowd go mild. They can't believe it.
Okay.
So today's donut, we have. Let's get some better lighting.
Ooh.
So it's just looks like your plain old donut, just
a
bit of light, and then we can open up in the middle. Which way?
Oh, here we go.
This is the ASMR.
For anyone just audio listening, which I will sort out soon, Stash is pulling apart a donut with what looks like a raspberry filling. Could be strawberry.
See, like I always go for the chains, right?
That's a supermarket donut. I'll tell you right there.
Surely that's got to be a supermarket donut. Although, right, the other day I did get Too Good to Go from Greg's, and they did include a donut, and it did look suspiciously like that. So it could be like a Greg's donut.
What I'll say is, I think that donut's from yesterday. I don't think that's bought today. I think that's a yesterday donut. That sugar's too.
You insult him.
No.
I will have to say one thing. These donuts are from somewhere, but they've changed the look of them this year. They used to look different.
Okay. I don't know the way he's explained what change the look means. Like me and you weren't going to catch that. They've changed the look of them.
The donut surely just looks like a donut. What was it? A piece of bread?
No, it was a different shape.
Okay, so
you have donuts from this place. They used to be a different shape. I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
different shape.
And is it a chain?
No, it's not a chain like a Greg's, but
okay.
You were on it that it's like a supermarket.
That's what I thought.
Ooh, okay. You know what? I've got to go with my regular pick of Sainsbury's.
No, though I'll tell you right now, that's not a Sainsbury's. The colour's off. That's too red. It's too red for a Sainsbury's.
Okay, well, what's your pick then?
I'm gonna tell you that there is a Lidl donut.
What about you? You're sticking with Sainsbury's?
I've got to stick with Sainsbury's.
I'm so sorry, you're both wrong. It's a Tesco's donut.
Oh, pathetic.
No!
I'm livid. No, not about your choice, but about the fact we couldn't get that. A Tesco. I knew it wasn't a Sainsbury's though. They say, they don't want. Sash, you were an absolute donut fiend, mate. I didn't think we'd be able to keep this up every week. Every week you come back.
Every week there's going to be donuts.
Every week.
Or the
from different places.
Good pastry. There's a really good pastry place I'm going to go to. So
we'll be ordering them from abroad soon because we'll be having donuts.
We'll be so rich. 50 ETH. We're going to have like golden limoncello donuts.
Yeah, with like the gold. We'll get salt bay to sprinkle the sugar on top.
At the end of the Christmas episode, I would like Stash to have a solo video explaining to the viewers what mince pie he's got, and the comments be people guessing where it's from. And the reveal will be on the New Year's pod. Perfect.
That's a good one.
But yeah, anyway, that was this week's Weaving Web 3 with me, James.
Me, Chris.
Keith Stash.
Goodbye, everyone.
Yes, sir.